Hey, everybody, you've probably heard that there is a foreman training coming up. It's been a while since we've done them, maybe a year. And so, in honor of that and getting ready for the information call, it's just the info call is just 30 minutes, and it's for you and your foreman to come in and see if foreman training even makes sense in your organization. But in honor of that, I want to talk to the foreman and to you as the leader, looking out for your foreman, the 3 steps to better time management for your foreman. In most cases, we don't train our foreman or our crew lead or our forewoman, whatever they're called, shop lead, department lead. Maybe it's a finishing lead, whoever it is. But have you trained that person? And we put a lot of expectations on the foreman, and then we don't give them support, and we wonder why we're not getting the results that we want. And the foreman is maybe frustrated because they want to deliver those results. Anyways, listen, the 3 steps to better time management are really quickly: plan tomorrow today, run a 15-minute morning huddle. And we're going to cover that more. The 15-minute morning huddle, how to run an effective huddle every day so everybody knows what they're doing. We're going to cover that in the information session and in the training. Hey, if you want to be on the information session, shoot me a text, 315-903-7853. That goes straight to my cell phone. And just say foreman training, and then I'll know to put you on the wait list, because we have to arrange for the big conference call where you and your foreman can be there. Anyways, just say foreman training in that. So the 3 steps to better time management: plan tomorrow today, run a 5 to 15-minute morning huddle, and control your time as the foreman, not just the crews, right? So when we talk about planning tomorrow today, you have to, there's a difference in leadership from being somebody who's on the bench, and usually that's where we promote them from, right? But now when you're a foreman, when you're a crew lead, you have to end every day by making a quick list of what needs to happen tomorrow. And for some people, they'll say, well, I'll remember. I just keep it in my head. It's all in the vault. Steel trap. No, you need to write it down. And I find that still old school writing it down, what do they call that? Analog still works. Having a piece of paper, a pen, there's some power for writing it down. If you want to do it electronically, go ahead. But for me, I like writing things down because then I can cross things off, and I can really cross it off hard if it was something that was hard won. But end every day by making a quick list of what needs to happen tomorrow. That way I don't forget. And I might be able to delegate some of those things off, and having it written is a great way to start that. But ask yourself, what's missing? What could slow us down? What are the gotchas? What are my blind spots? Maybe tomorrow is a stat holiday and there's not going to be any deliveries. Maybe tomorrow there's going to be construction out in front of the building, and delivery trucks aren't going to be able to come in and out. I don't know what it is, but you know all the crazy things that happen, right? And then make sure your crew knows what to expect before they show up. Great thing to do is have everybody prepped and prepared. We're working on the Johnson job, or we're working on Johnson Dental, whatever your shop does, right? So that's item number one. Then number two is to run a 5 to 15-minute morning huddle. Now, the huddle is an important communication tool. We're going to be talking about all of the tools that will be available to you if you decide to put yourself and the foreman in foreman training. Important point. This is not a training just for the foreman. If you're the owner, you need to be there as well, along with your foreman. If you're running a shop where you are the owner and the foreman, you're welcome to come to the training, so you don't have to have that second person there. But what I don't want is a situation where you just wave your hand and say, well, foreman, you need this training, off you go. What's going to happen at the end of this is your foreman is going to be a very finely tuned machine. They're going to have checklists. They're going to have forms. There's going to be a number of posters that need to go up. Reminder posters, not just in the foreman's office or for them to keep at their desk, but also in the walls of the shop, maybe in the lunchroom, maybe in the bathroom where people read it. All of those posters are really important. We've got to put some leadership methodology in place. We've got to add some rhythms to the business. Predictability and rhythms is really what we want for either the shop floor, production, even the install crews out in the field. So again, if you want to be on the information call, it's just 30 minutes. Send me a text, 315-903-7853. So we're going to talk about how to run a 5 morning huddle. It doesn't need to go longer than that. Now, some of you listening are saying, well, Dom, I've got a crew of 60 guys. You want to run a morning huddle that's only 5, 10, 15 minutes? Absolutely. We can run a meeting that fast. Meetings are for a purpose. They're not just visits. They're not just chats. They're not a blame and finger pointing session, especially when you run them properly. We're going to give you the agenda for the morning huddle, and we're going to give you the scripts for the morning huddle. And we're also going to show you what to do when people start to go off the rails and side conversations spark up. Has anybody ever had that happen? I have. So running that huddle every day, the foreman has to gather the crew, cover off what's the plan, what materials do we have? We don't want any surprises, right? And what problems need solving now? And what are the real problems? And as I said, we're also going to deal with that side conversation or that little fire that popped up during the meeting that sometimes takes the meeting off into an hour. We don't want that to happen. So we've got scripts, formats, and organizational tools for you on that. Real leadership tools. That's what this is about. Anyways, number 3 is to control your time. That's the foreman. Control the foreman's time. Listen, I still need time management training. What about you as the owner? Have you given your foreman the opportunity to take any time management training for the foreman of a wood shop? It's really critical. The foreman has such an important role for us. They are our voice to production, and they're also production's voice back to us. We need our crew working safely. We need our crew producing to a certain quality. We need our crew on track and fulfilling what we made as promises to our customers, right? So as part of that, you want to make sure that the foreman blocks out time for planning, checking work, and problem solving. Yesterday, I talked about finger guns Fred, Fred the foreman. He can't always be reactive and putting out fires or shooting as the problems come at him. That is a very difficult, high stress way for that to work. And if that's the case for your foreman, then you, Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner, you have a team member at risk. If we can't give them predictability and simple systems on the floor and in production and in the field for installs, then life is easier other places. And you're creating a situation where your foreman could be at risk, and we don't want that, right? Again, listen, if you want to be on the information call, it's just 30 minutes. That's all it's going to be. 30 minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the agenda. You and your foreman are there together, hopefully in the office, watching it on a Zoom call or something like that. And at the end of the 30 minutes, whatever, we have some questions, maybe it goes 35 minutes. But at the end of it, that's the end of the call. There's no pressure. You guys go away and decide if you want to be in the foreman training. It's called Foreman 101. And if you do, okay, that's great. You still have to qualify. But if you want to be in, you can be in as long as you qualify. If you don't want to be in, that's fine. At least you and the foreman have had the conversation. And a big part of this is just starting the conversation. That's it. What if your foreman comes to you and says, the reason we can't do this training with Dominic is because we just don't have anywhere quiet for both of us to be in that meeting. And he's going to follow that up by saying, and I've been telling you that for weeks. I cannot get a moment's peace so I can do my planning. Where I was just talking about controlling your time. He doesn't have time to plan, check work, or problem solving. He doesn't have a proper desk to sit at. It's not quiet enough. People keep interrupting him. We'll actually deal with constant interruptions as a part of the trainings in one of the training modules. But my point here is at least you'll have the conversation, and you and the owner can have you and the foreman, sorry, you are the owner who I'm speaking to. You and the foreman can have a real conversation about the things that need to happen. Anyways, if you want to be on that call, you have to get on the wait list because it's not an open invitation. We have to make sure that you're the right size company, that it's only owners and foremen in there, etc. So it's not a cattle call. There's not going to be everybody from the internet in there. It's just cabinet makers, mill workers, maybe some people that build closets, if that's okay. But that's who's going to be there. They're going to be owners of businesses who have a shop big enough to have a foreman. Some of the people there will have 60 and 70 man crews, and some of the people will have 3-man crews. That's okay, but we're all in wood fabrication, right? Anyways, if you want to be in that, you guys know my cell phone, 315-903-7853, and say foreman training. I wanted to finish off one more point about controlling your time, not just the crew's time. As I already said, the foreman has to block out time for planning and problem solving. They also have to get to a place where not every problem is pulling them off track. They have something bigger they're trying to accomplish. So if we're out of bar clamps, that can't throw off the whole day. They have to have something bigger going on. But then there's also a tool, and we're going to be sharing this tool during training, called the Foreman's Daily and Weekly Planner. Now that's something you and the foreman, you as the owner, and the foreman can actually work on together. Again, it's the shared documents that you're going to get, the shared tools and resources. By the way, they're all going to be in Google Drive for everybody in the class to share and print off and brand to your own company standards. And that includes the posters that we've built for you that go on the wall to help keep your team on culture, on task, on time, and safe. Anyways, let's wrap it up here. If you want to be on the call, the information call, you have to let me know in advance because that's how this is working. And send me a text, 315-903-7853, and say, Dom, I want to be on the Foreman information call, and we'll get you on the list. Thanks for checking in, folks. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.